Hello, good morning, and welcome to the second annual COPA Community Day. We are so excited to bring you a fun-filled day packed with inspiring stories, lessons from your peers, and opportunities to expand your DevOps knowledge. The Copado community continues to grow rapidly, reaching more than 70,000 members this year. In the past year, we have seen countless stories of members up-leveling their careers, improving their work-life balance, and making new friends around the world. Thank you for the enormous role that you play in helping other members unlock their potential and find success. I'd also like to thank our partners at Centro, DigitSec, Elements Cloud, Jade, Own Backup, and Slalom. Thank you for your incredible support. This is my favorite day of the year, and I'm so excited to welcome each of you. The growth of the Copado community has been an incredible thing to witness. This year alone, we welcomed 20,000 new members. If we haven't had the chance to meet yet, I'd like to take the opportunity to welcome you now. Whether you joined to complete a Copado certification, to match with one of our mentors or testing buddies, or to check out our all-new DevOps Exchange, we are so glad that you are here. And to help us recognize and celebrate your incredible achievements, I'm excited to announce the all-new Copado Community Ranks. Be on the lookout for some fun new ways that you'll be able to share your rank and encourage your peers in the Copado community. Whether you're just getting started as a DevOps scout or among our first 3 digital disruptors, we have something for you in today's program, and hopefully everyone will walk away today with some new friends, a few more points towards your rank, and a lot of new learnings to fuel your success.
I started way at the bottom. I started as a help desk agent, and I worked my way up to try to be a production release manager. I was given the task of handling DevOps. I didn't understand what was DevOps. It felt like I was the only one figuring out what was Salesforce DevOps in the country. Copado actually came in and complemented what our vision was and where we wanted to get to. Now it's history. I'm now the lead technical architect for DevOps across Standard Bank Group.
My career, actually, I pivoted after 20 plus years in the nonprofit field. I was managing operations and IT, and I found myself wearing too many hats and near burnout and in need of something new. And so what I decided was that I had loved our Salesforce implementation that we did at the nonprofit. So I went all in with Salesforce. And for me, I'm all in DevOps. So I just pivoted over into the DevOps architect role. And I'm very excited to start working in this space and helping to grow the number of women and diverse teams.
And I kept myself updated by learning the modules, by interacting with people working in Copado and the other community members. So it gave me a nice platform to learn and also to network with other people. I'm trying to be a technical architect in the future, so having the opportunity to learn such a diverse set of skills was very much beneficial for me.
So I started working with Copado Academy, started learning in 2019. It was actually the first tool I ever used to deploy anything Salesforce-wise. I started with Fundamentals 1 and then got that certification, moved on to Fundamentals 2, and then Consultant. So now I have all 3 and looking forward to robotic testing as soon as I find some time.
I was very fortunate that I got this opportunity very early in my career because I can only grow from now.
When I met the people in the community and programs like the Copado mentorship, that was really just kind of my cue that I'm in my element. I have people around that are a really great support system, and we just like to help each other.
It is opportunities for people to grow their careers. It is opportunities for people to understand this Salesforce ecosystem behind the scenes.
It really allows me to address all the complexity in deployment with ease and keep us moving.
I just love hearing these success stories. And a few weeks ago at TDX, I had the chance to catch up with Blanca and several other of our community members and chat about their stories live. And that was such a cool opportunity. I also had the chance to sit down and chat about our member success with Copado CEO Ted Elliott. Let's take a look. Good morning, everybody. I'm so excited to be joined today with Copado CEO Ted Elliott. Ted, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and chat with us today.
I'm really excited. Let's have a fun time.
Yeah. So we are here at TDX today, which is the ultimate user conference, and just such a cool opportunity to connect with so many of our customers and community members. It's been really a buzz in here today.
It's been crazy with all the Illuminate people and Salesforce's program architects. It's been a great opportunity to see it in action.
It really has been. I've got to hear a lot of great conversations. We just heard from several of our community members that actually have accelerated their careers through Copado. And it made me think about back when I was interviewing with Copado and with you specifically, and you really shared an inspirational story with me that sealed the deal, really, and made me want to be a part of Copado's mission. And I was hoping maybe you would share a little bit of that story about what made you choose Copado with our community today.
Well, what got me excited about Copado was this idea of making it so that people could go home for dinner on release days. And the reason it was important to me is all the nights that I bought pizzas or bought Cokes or whatever it was to keep people in the office so we wouldn't show up the next day and fail the customer. And sometimes we did fail the customer, and then it became 2 or 3 days of buying pizzas and Cokes. And so when I started having customers come up to me at trade shows and say, hey, I got to see my family, or I had one customer who said our team has less divorces. I said, geez, we're actually doing something that's much bigger than we realize.
Yeah.
And if we can have an impact on people and really make it so that people can realize their dreams, then that's actually something that's really exciting. It doesn't necessarily mean that we have to wave a flag and celebrate it in front of everyone because, you know, people want to go do their jobs, but
yeah,
it's something that you can get up in the morning and feel good about.
Yeah, it really is, and that resonated with me so much because before I joined Copado, I was a Salesforce consultant for a number of years.
So you've lived some of those projects.
I've lived it.
Yeah.
One of my clients, we had a bunk room for release weekends, and you were expected to stay there on site, in the office, eat your meals there, and you know, that left little time for family. A lot of people couldn't see themselves in that career path because they weren't able to make that kind of commitment. And so when you shared that story with me, that's really what kind of convicted me and made me want to be a part of Copado's mission, because I'd lived that challenge myself as well.
Well, I think it's something that lots of people face, and it's really hard to raise your hand and say I need help in those
Yeah.
situations. And in many cases, our customers don't even realize that there's another way to do things, right?
Yeah.
But that's why we're here. And in fact, that's why our two founders started the company. They were living in their own version of a bunk room in Spain, and they were just pulling their hair out because they couldn't realize their dreams of what they want to do with Salesforce. Instead, they were spending all their time fixing problems. And so I think it's pretty compelling, and I think it's part of the reason that we've grown, I don't know, 25-fold in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Is specifically because we're actually solving a problem that no one really likes to talk about, but is definitely out there.
Yeah, I think it's just expected, or taken as kind of the status quo. That's part of the job, but I think we're redefining that it doesn't have to be part of the job.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be part of the job, but it does require, just like weightlifting or any other thing, that you have to be committed. It doesn't mean that things get necessarily easier over time, but they get better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, I love that, and I love now hearing the stories of our customers and members who have actually seen that transformation. People who have new jobs, who have purchased homes, who have, achieved personal and professional milestones that they didn't see for themselves before they had an opportunity to learn and kind of grow their toolkit.
Yeah, there's nothing more inspirational than someone saying, when I started, no one thought we even needed this, now I'm running the team.
Yeah.
Right? And it would be one thing if we heard that once, but we're hearing it over and over again. And one of the things that we're really seeing is that people are taking Copado wherever they go, right? And so when you think about your own career and you think about what you're doing, the idea that something you're doing, people want to take with them, that they're proud of it, that they want to be associated with it, they want to be affiliated with it, that's a pretty good confirmation that you're doing something right.
Yeah, it really is.
So I love what you guys have been doing with the community, and I really love the emphasis on how can we build careers for people.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a really incredible opportunity to get to be a part of the community. We're now 70,000 members strong.
Is that how many members were there when you first joined?
Oh, I think there was less than 20,000 when I first joined, 30,000 the first year.
That's pretty amazing
So
when you think about it.
Pretty incredible, and what we've seen is just the relationships that are formed. Our mentors and mentees truly form these friendships. We've seen people from different continents to work with people that they met through their mentorship and through the community discussion groups, and that's just such a cool thing to see, and to know that the work that we're doing is having that kind of impact. And especially right now, it's a really hard economy. We're seeing really tough things in the news. The tech industry specifically has been hit really hard. We know that our members have been affected and our customers have been affected. And so, you've been in this industry for a long time. What advice do you have for someone on how to be resilient or how to differentiate themselves in this marketplace?
Yeah, so I think it comes down to an old catchphrase that Levi Strauss has, which is quality never goes out of style. And I think if you're interested in Copado and you're interested in our community, you like to see things go well. You like to see the project get completed. And I think there's going to be more and more demand for those people over time. And I think this is a good time for people to double down on their skills. This is a good time to wake up in the morning and take that next certification, that next class, and build those schools. Because what I'm seeing is demand. And I'm seeing demand for the skills that our members have. And I think part of the way that you have job security and job promotion is that you're doing stuff that actually helps people. It's actually the same reason why we're here. And so, my advice to everybody is take a breath. This happened. We go up and down. It's all going to work out. But what can you do to make yourself better during this period? Because we have a lot of choices, especially those people who might be out there who don't have a job right now. You can sleep in all day, or you can get up in the morning and figure out how you're going to make yourself the best yourself you can be.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that is part of what we allow people to do. Is we have free access to tools, we have free access to training, we will help people, and we're committed to seeing this mission through, right?
Yeah.
And that's probably your best job advantage that you can find. Plus we have employers who need people to do this work, and I think what you're going to see in 6 months or 9 months is the demand is only going to increase, because everyone has basically been trying to see how long can I get along without doing anything. And those days are coming to an end.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And we do have a lot of resources out there. If we know of customers or partners that are hiring, we're also trying to share those with our community members, trying to connect as many people to jobs as we can.
I had a conversation today with a guy named John Tashik from Salesforce, and he said, average isn't okay. And I said, well, what do you mean by average isn't okay? He said, in today's world, you have to be above average, you have to deliver with quality, you have to make sure that stuff works, because not working is average. And I think that's a really important idea for everyone to understand, is if you want to stand out, you have to be committed, and you have to go for being above average. And I think that's something we can help you do if you're out there, is achieve that.
Yeah. One of the inspiring things about being part of the Copado team is that a lot of our leaders have had other successes in the Salesforce ecosystem, yourself included, and you built Job Science, which was a huge success, built on the Salesforce platform, available in the App Exchange. You came on to lead Copado in our incredible growth story. We're listed in the App Exchange, and now the Copado platform also has its own exchange, the DevOps Exchange, launched last year. So I'd love to just hear about, your vision and kind of the opportunity that's out there for individuals and companies to, find their success with Copado as well.
Yeah, the key opportunity is to, one, take your great ideas and make them available to everyone. And maybe not even make any money off those great ideas initially, because the DevOps Exchange really came from this idea that you could do so much more. Accenture, Capgemini, all these different partners started building extensions onto our product so they could solve almost any problem you have. I think that's stage one in this. And we brought in David Brooks, who built the App Exchange, and he's leading our DevOps Exchange team. I think stage two in what we're doing is going to be this evolution of it. Once the apps are proven and people are using it on a regular basis, then if you're a partner like Adesiva or Own Backup or Digisec, customers are going to easily be able to see they can extend what they're doing off your application. It's going to really be a marketplace for your ideas. I think there's a third component to it, which is the testing portion that we're going to launch, where you're going to be able to find test templates and you're going to be able to find ways to do things faster. And it's going to be almost a DevOps accelerator that comes from people sharing ideas, sharing experiences, and solving problems. And that's how I initially got involved in the App Exchange, was looking at how people were solving problems and then coming up with innovative ideas of how to solve problems on top of those problems.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. We have several exciting announcements around the DevOps Exchange. We'll be launching our latest certification, the Copado Extension Developer Certifications, coming out in April. So you'll now get to learn how to build on top of Copado for those individuals and organizations that don't know how to do that yet. And then we're also going to be launching a series of hackathons to inspire.
I'm very excited about.
Yeah. I'm thrilled. It's going to be super fun working with some of our partners, working in different regions to host live events where people come together to build these applications, with a team or as individuals or as organizations. So there's a lot of excitement coming this year around the DevOps Exchange, and really excited to see what's ahead there.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you look at MuleSoft, you look at Salesforce, you look at any of these, if you look at Workato or Zapier, the ability to unleash creativity and allow people to demonstrate their creativity and make it available to other people, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that is very core to how we think of the world at Copado, and it's part of what gets us excited about what we're doing.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Well, Ted, this has been an absolute joy. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and chat with us. Really excited for everything we have ahead with Community Day, and really excited for what we have ahead with the DevOps Exchange as well.
Well, thanks for letting me participate, and I'm just want to keep telling you how amazed I am about what you and the team are doing.
Thank you, Ted.
Thanks.
It's always so fun to get the chance to catch up with Ted, and there is certainly a lot to be excited about in the community this year. If you are looking for the next step in your DevOps career, be sure to check out the Copado job board in our discussion groups. Next up, we'll have the chance to sit down with some of our 2023 Copado champions. But first, we will be doing 10 random giveaways throughout the program today, and winners will be announced in the chat on the main stage following each segment. So keep an eye on the chat, and best of luck. Please join me in welcoming Katie Browning. Katie leads our community engagement team and the Champions program. Welcome, Katie.
Thank you, Ashley. I'm so happy to be here with everyone today.
It's awesome to have you here. It's been so fun to watch the Champions and the Champions program grow. This year, we have 24 champions from around the world, and today we get the chance to chat with 4 of them. Should we go ahead and bring them on?
Yes, let's bring them on. I'm so excited to introduce everyone to 4 of our awesome Copado champions. Today we have Natasha Bowman, Sanal Gupta, Miranda Munal, and Abhishek Tombear. So welcome everyone, and thank you so much for being here with us today. Just to give everyone a little bit of context, the Copado Champions program started in 2021, and we had 18 champions. Last August, the program grew, like Ashley mentioned, and now we have 24 awesome Copado champions in our second cohort, and we'll be accepting nominations again coming up in August. So if that's something you're interested in, stay on the lookout for that later this year. Our champions come from a wide array of different backgrounds, and they were all introduced to Copado in many different ways. So it gives us a really great opportunity to hear from a diverse set of experts in the space. So with that, let's get started by diving into some of your origin stories with Copado. What motivated you to take that extra step and really want to become a Copado champion? Natasha, let's start with you. how did you get started with the Copado Champions program and with Copado in general?
Hello. So as you might have heard in the intro video, Copado was my first deployment tool ever. So I started Salesforce in 2019 right out of college. So I never got to experience the pain of any other deployment tool, but after Copado, I do not want to. Then I had an opportunity to go to TDX in San Francisco, and I met some really great Copado employees, specifically some amazing women. They made me feel super welcomed and not at all intimidated, which I have felt in some tech spaces. So we bonded and laughed, talked about the women in DevOps experience, and they made me feel like I was part of this group that I've always admired, which is women in tech. So then I saw the Copado Champion nominations, and I was inspired by my newfound member of the Women in DevOps group status. So I went for it, and I am proud to be here and very grateful for the opportunity and experience.
Yeah, that story makes me so happy. I'm so glad that you were able to connect with us at TDX, and that really helped you take that next step and accelerate your DevOps journey. So we're glad that you're here, Natasha.
Thank you.
What about you, Abhishek? I know this is your second year as a Copado champion, which is awesome. How did you get started with Copado and the Champions program?
Thanks, Katie, for introducing. So I'm good. I got introduced to Salesforce in my third year of engineering. So post that, I was going through the LinkedIn, and then I get to introduced to the Copado. So as an interest to the as an interest to the new learning new things. So I have gone through the Copado and signed up for that. Going through the webinars and links, and post that, getting introduced to the Salesforce DevOps. So post that, I got a chance to the multiple times get a chance to the being a part of Copado mentorship. So being a Copado mentor, I have get networks in Copado community, or we can say the Salesforce and Copado DevOps team. So being a last year also, I got with the help of this network, I got being a chance of and proud to be a Copado champion. For this year also, I again part of Copado Champions. Thanks, and I'm proud to be a part of this good and we can say the Copado team. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Abhishek. We're really glad to have you as part of our community, and I'm glad that you called out the mentorship program as well. For those who may not know, we have a really great mentorship program that runs just about once a quarter, and that's a great way to get involved with the community as well. So feel free to hop on and sign up for that as well. Well, all of your community support is appreciated, but let's move on to how you're actually using Copado in your day-to-day lives. I know you're all kind of using Copado in different ways. So Miranda, let's start with you. Could you tell us a little bit about how you use Copado and how using it more has impacted your organization and really your day-to-day work?
Yes, when I started with the organization in 2018, it was really, we were just using the basics of Copado just to keep the lights on and make sure that we were delivering deployments. So the basics is the basic configuration, using the sprints, using the projects, using the pipeline. Since I transitioned into the DevOps role, previously I was an admin with the organization. Joining the DevOps squad, we really decided to try to impact our change management and vocalize, we are using Copado. And if we have Copado, if we're paying for Copado, if it can go through Copado, it should go through Copado. So we really encouraged everyone, including developers, testers, leadership, to really understand and learn what Copado is. And Copado makes it very easy for you to start to build that knowledge base. It's very similar to Salesforce Trailhead, where you can go into the success community and review modules and study for certifications. So we really encourage our entire organization to start to build that skill set so that we could even develop subject matter experts within each of the development squads, which also helped us to make sure that the DevOps squad was really focusing their energies and resources where it mattered, right? So really developing that knowledge and developing subject matter experts within the DevOps squad and within the development squads really has helped us to advocate and expose how we use Copado and really actually think about thinking ahead and how else can we integrate Copado functionality and feature within our deployment cycle. Copado has also actually helped us from a compliance and release management perspective when we think about quality control. So thinking about those features and functionalities that Copado has available to us, the simple things as even building a rule and compliance hub or starting to build quality gates to ensure that everything's in alignment and what should be deployed that sprint is actually deployed for that sprint. Copado has really helped us with that. And again, prior to transitioning into the DevOps role, I was an admin. So even looking at the page layout and understanding out of the box functionality from Salesforce, like validation rules, implementing the validation rules into our user story page layouts has actually added value to reduce the potential for human misses and start to build in systematic checks. So really with all of the work and focus that we've put around sales Copado, it really has had allowed us to do 100% on-time deployments. Pretty much for the past 4 to 5 years, we've had 100% on-time deployments, specifically using Copado as our primary deployment mechanism.
That is awesome, Miranda. 100% on-time deployments. We love to hear that. That is great. I know you and I have talked a lot about the people, process, and technology aspect of all of this, and I'm so happy that your organization has really been able to take that approach and see such a big impact. And I love how you mentioned the certifications as well, getting your whole team certified. A lot of people in the chats are talking about doing the same thing, and I think that's so impactful that you all are doing that with your team. So way to go.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. What about you, Sanal? How has growing and how your organization uses Copado impacted your work?
Hello, everyone. First of all, thanks to Katie, Ashley, and all the Copado and team in the Champion to give me this opportunity to talk here. Being working on the Salesforce ecosystem from last 15 years, and especially in Copado from last 4 years, I've been, part of more than 10 sales Copado implementation in the journey and have been help over 100 developers to learn Copado. Seeing through those multiple Copado implementation and the challenges and how to remediate that, all coming from those real life experience, we have learned to, the strategy how to implement Copado without even impacting the delivery and efficiency, and continuously improving on the process. It's not one time like you did it and then you still keep improving on your deployment process. The other important aspect that we have seen is make sure that you have trained folks, because it's all about the adoption of tools, people, and process. And as technology is more often seen like those drivers for DevOps, but in reality, it's more about people and process. As everyone knows, DevOps is kind of combination of philosophy practices, which aim to build these teams together from development and operation to facilitate a culture of collaboration and responsibility. So in my organizations and prior organization, we have been rolled out Copado. We train a lot of people, more than 30 people who are Salesforce background and even just admin background, and few people who kind of skilled organically and are joined part of Copado community, which I'm kind of proud of. And the other aspect thing that when we impact that is also not thinking about who are skill set in Copado, but who can learn. So we have established documentation on the deployment process, playbook, operation policies, and quick reference guide FAQ for the folks who are newly joining the team, as well as we internally have also our own community inside our company. And it's more like we come up with this concept called train the trainer Copado program. So in my team we have 10 Copado SME core team who sits in different agile team and advise and make sure there's successful path for new admins and developer to ramp up on Copado.
That's great. I was just thinking as you were talking, Sanal, you, Miranda, I know Natasha, you've talked about the process, making a big impact, getting your team trained. And I know it can be really overwhelming, maybe for people who are on the call who aren't at this point yet with their organization. So just a quick shout out, feel free to get in the community, use those discussion groups, connect with our champions who have this experience. The great thing is they are so willing to share and they're so passionate about the community to help support along the way. So don't hesitate to reach out to any of our champions or anyone in the community if you're looking for that support or you just don't know how to get started ramping up your team.
Yeah, the community groups are super helpful, and our team has always felt really, really supported. The release readiness and now the CRT discussion groups, those are awesome, and everyone's very welcoming. It feels like a safe space where there's no silly questions, so I recommend it for sure.
Great. Well, later today, I'm super excited. We will be celebrating our Copavorce Awards ceremony, and we are giving away 6 innovation awards to teams who have really been innovative and found success using Copado. So in the spirit of those innovation awards, I thought it would be fun if a few of you could share how you've been innovative with Copado. So Abhishek, what about you? Have you had an opportunity to be innovative with Copado?
Yes, Katie. So coming to the Copado innovation, so we get a like lot of connections with the Copado dev team. While like we can say UI enhancement or being a part of Copado champion, we'll get a lot of content with the what are the new things coming to the products in as a Copado. Apart from that, being a there is like last year being a last year there is a CRT workshop we have hackathon we had run there. So in that I'm being a part of lead for the CRT workshop and get a chance to learn a group with the 4 new peoples from the Copado community, had worked with them and created one of the like Copado CRT solution for the we can say the data security thing. So that's the for we can say Copado hackathon. Apart from that, currently we are on like we have just introduced the DevOps exchange. I'm being exploring things. I will explore more on the Copado DevOps too. There's a lot of DevOps applications are available on the DevOps exchange. Currently, currently we had acquired the Hope Happy Soap.io. So that is one of the like we can say the useful acquisition, and we can say the useful leverage of the Copado things will help us to get a quality control over like a CRT thing, and the testing will get easily and smoother than earlier too.
Yeah, those are great examples, Abhishek. I love calling out the CRT hackathon that we had last year. Hopefully you all heard Ashley and Ted talking that we have more hackathons planned for the near future. So definitely stay on the lookout for that. That's a great way to grow your skill sets using Copado and really find those ways to be innovative. And then again, the DevOps Exchange. Thank you for calling that out, Abhishek. If you haven't learned much about the DevOps Exchange yet, we have a demo jam later with 4 partners who are listed on our DevOps Exchange. So that's a really great opportunity. Make sure you check out that session. While thinking more about how others are being innovative with Copado, Sanal, I know you've shared in the past with me about using customizations. Could you share a little bit about how your team has been innovative that way with Copado?
Yeah, definitely. So, one of the best part with Copado is natively built on Salesforce. So, which basically is like enable you to have anyone who has Salesforce experience on the platform with even low-code broker model can kind of customize it based on the need for your deployment process. And also it's easy to adopt, not just the development but also easy to adopt for even admin and BA. So we started with designing, establishing user personas for different developers, admins, BA, and also governing multiple Salesforce org and their related pipelines. We tailor these deployment process using a lot of customization, custom integration with ALM, Jira, also with the quality control with code review, pull request, and validation rules. And also other declarative medias, as well as through a dynamic related list to show those overlap awareness, so developers know what they're working on and how they can kind of early in the game of conflict resolution. And also, as I was talking about pro code model, we also developed some lightning web component which kind of quickly give you the overall quality checklist, how you're doing on your user story level, quick indicator for those approvals, apex test runs, static analysis, and all of that. So there's a lot we have done, and there are also recently we're trying to go with this DevSecOps solution for the compliance rule for the security. And we have a lot of things with the Copado version control. We have webhooks, life cycles for different events. And not just this, but I also have a lot of things on my roadmap, especially exploring the CIT and integrating with our CI/CD, and the DevOps Exchange, those solutions, especially for SAT and quality integration framework testing. So I'm kind of, as speaking in this, I'm kind of started to think we should also bundle something which a common solution and publish on the DevOps Exchange.
I love it. The brainstorming is happening live. Thank you for sharing that. I think it can be, again, if you haven't done it before, it's just great to hear how other people are using Copado and getting creative and innovative. So I appreciate you sharing that with everyone. Miranda, what about you? What has innovation looked like for you and the IBM team?
Sure. Innovation could be very complex, or it can be straightforward and simple. And I think for us, Copado and innovation has helped our organization just with the basics, the foundational backbone, and even the jumping off point from there. Like I mentioned, when we started with our deployments, it was really like the Wild West. Yes, developers understood how they work push into creations of user stories to get their development work through the landscape. But beyond that, there was not much visibility or knowledge around Copado and our processes. So when I became part of the DevOps squad, I wanted to make sure that we had an accurate, repeatable, efficient process. And I wanted to make sure that it was communicated and visible throughout the organization. So really what we've done is what some of the champions have mentioned today is once we had a repeatable, usable process, we started to put out playbook documentation and processes so that development squads were able to have that exposure and really understand what the entire process looked like, not just by creating a user story, but getting that through the landscape and getting that into production, right? Understanding what DevOps has to go through a little bit behind the scenes without making them feel intimidated by the overall process. Everyone has their own particular skill set, right? Developers are developers, et cetera, et cetera. So you want to make sure that you have a balance of awareness about the process and how you do the process, but making sure that it's not overkill, because then it kind of makes people feel, like I mentioned, a little bit intimidated. So just creating that documentation and having that baseline knowledge base within the organization, coupled with the success community of Copado, really helped us to balance that and to ensure that everyone had a really good understanding of what a 2-week sprint cycle actually meant, and when we say we run validations, what that actually means, and how we help to coordinate patches and hot fixes, et cetera. All of that has really helped to improve communication, right? So that when there is an issue that hits production, just yesterday we had an issue that hit production actually. What's a quick, efficient way that we could go through this process and get stability back to our end users, right? So really leveraging Copado as that foundational common thread in communication, and then building documentation around that, coupled with what's available out there already that Copado puts out, has really helped us to innovate our process and actually move us to that next stage in the DevOps maturity lifecycle, if you will, right? We're not just at the point of keeping the lights on and in that hurry or in that high stress moment to get deployments done. We're now taking the time to look at systematic checks, to look at automations, to look at things that we have available through Copado that we haven't necessarily started to leverage. So really, I think Copado has been our backbone for simplistic innovation, if you will.
No, I love it. I love how everyone kind of had a different answer to this question and how there are so many different ways that you can be innovative with Copado, and you've all found different ways to do that, whether it's through those customizations, the process, through community challenges, whatever that might look like. So I appreciate all the different perspectives there. And it makes me more excited for the Innovation Awards later today. Well, as we are here to celebrate community today, I thought it would be great to hear from a few of you about what community means to you. So Natasha, would you like to get us started and share a little bit about what community means to you?
Sure, absolutely. I think community means having a feeling of openness where you feel like you have people you can trust and go to for help or advice or anything you need. And I think the Copado community definitely ticks all those boxes. Shout out to my team. We're all certified in Fundamentals 1, at least. So having those resources and having that strong community when we were all in that process was really, really important and really pushed us forward. So
awesome. Congrats to you and your team on all being certified.
Thanks.
What about you, Sanal? What does community mean for you?
Yeah, definitely. I want to echo, first of all, Natasha, what she mentioned about. I think community also is, my mindset is more like a powerful collaboration platform that brings you on this continuous improvement journey to learn, explore, excel, and grow from each other. And it's really building that, sharing culture, whether you have the community within your company or, the public community like our corporate community, where you always engage, learn, innovate, and contribute to better for you and for the community. So this is like, I feel like a place where you find like mindset people, passionate people to solve those business challenges and in more than one way, and even with the right way. And it'll help you basically implement those learning and share those experience. So give back to community with your latest and greatest thing, and also you'll find the quality content over there. So that will help you and your team ramp up on Copado and solving those problems together. And everybody is also absorbing from those quality content what we have on communities, and question being answered. And it's all about at the end, like people process and enabling them through these technologies. And I feel like this community is essential for success for everyone. And a lot of things, like sometimes you just find quick things and some golden words that you would have been trying to solve the problem from so long, and you will be able to solve with this committee.
Yeah, I want to re-emphasize what you just said. Sometimes you get in there and you find that golden nugget. Like maybe you've been trying to solve a problem and you just can't figure it out, and you get in the community, you see a discussion that's already happening, and you're like, a light bulb goes off, and you're able to just move forward with something that's so powerful that you're able to get in there and have those conversations and hear from other people and just solve problems together. So I really appreciate all of our community members being so open to sharing and supporting each other and making it such a special place that we have in the Copado community. Well, I feel like we could talk for a really long time because you all have really great stuff to say, but let's wrap up with one last question today. And that is, I would love to hear from a few of you about any advice that you might have for others who are interested in pursuing a type of product champion or a community advocate type role. So Abhishek, what advice would you give to someone who's pursuing a champion type role?
Sure, Katie. For being my advice, being a Copado champion, or who love to be a Copado champion, it's like rather than focusing on like getting any award, or we can say championship, we should focus on the product, or like what are the updates currently going through the particular product, what is the new things coming up with the product, and like we should focus on the real world experience of the product. Why to choose this product, why to learn this, while doing all those things, we will going to be getting a support with the community. We should learn and share the things. In that only you will get the lead to become any champion, or we can say the product champion, or the Copado champion, or we can say the particular to the any of the technology. So that will be the, like, we can say, subject matter expert. Being a subject matter expert is more important rather than getting any championship or award. So that's my opinion.
Yeah, I think something many of you have shared in the past is it's not necessarily about that title of being a champion. It's about becoming an expert and being that person that people can go to for support. And by doing those things, like, in a way, you are becoming a champion for whatever the product or the community that you're involved in is. So I think that's a great call out, Abhishek. It's important just to stay up to date and always be learning to help you as you want to excel on your journey. And what about you, Miranda? Do you have any advice for individuals who might want to pursue a type of advocate or champion role?
Yes, I would say really it comes down to three things. Don't be afraid, don't be intimidated, and know that you have support. So like I mentioned, I was an administrator for, I don't know, about 8 years or so before going into DevOps. I didn't know anything about Copado or the tools available or the deployment process, but my leadership saw the potential in me, and I always am willing to rise to a challenge, right? So understanding like what resources are out there are available for me, especially through the Copado community, and really being able to build that knowledge base helped me to break down those barriers and actually transition to say, this is something that I really enjoy doing. This is something that I love to do. I can see myself doing this for the next 10 years or so. And so not being afraid and not being intimidated has really helped me just to stay focused and build that skill set, build that knowledge, especially with the support like you see here. Everyone on this panel today has talked about it being a safe space, having that support system, not being afraid to ask questions, not being afraid to answer questions, right? Because when you're answering those questions, that's you sharing your knowledge as well. So I think those types of characteristics really will help you to achieve and assume that title. Like you said, Katie, it doesn't necessarily have to be a title. It's just something that you embody, right? Embodying that champion of Copado or whatever platform it may be. That's really my advice, is really to make sure that you stay motivated, stay encouraged, and do not be intimidated.
Awesome. I love it. Well, Natasha, Sanal, any final thoughts from the two of you that you'd like to add?
I think that was all great, and I definitely agree. And I also wanted to highlight the fact that when you are in such a great support system, you create meaningful relationships on top of that. So, like has been mentioned previously, there's people around the world that are answering all these questions, and you're creating those relationships, and that's really cool. That's just a really cool aspect of having such a great community. And also, I wanted to mention, I think we talked about going in and finding those gold nuggets, but also the ability to have that safe space to ask those questions is also so important, because sometimes I feel like your questions are maybe not the smartest, or that you shouldn't be asking them, but it's such a welcoming environment. It's just really, really nice community.
Great. Well, I really appreciate all of you being here today and for being active Copado champions. And as I mentioned earlier, for anyone who is interested in learning more about the Copado Champions program, you'll start to see that communication coming out later this year around June, July timeframe. And with that, I think we're gonna head back to our conversation with Ashley and get ready for the rest of the day. So thank you all again for being here.
That was incredible, Katie. So awesome to hear from our champions. I loved hearing the different approaches that they've taken to help their teams learn Copado and DevOps best practices. So many great tips throughout that conversation.
Yeah, whenever I have these conversations with the champions, I just get so much energy and get so excited to hear from people who are doing such great things with Copado and in the community.
That's great. Thank you for such a great discussion. It's incredible to hear from our champions and how they're using Copado to innovate. Thank you, Katie, and thank you to all of our panelists.
Thank you.